The day discussions are even more effective because for a lot of those guys, they're going to keep working even after the 9 a.m. meeting that I have with them because they just work till midnight regularly. It's kind of part of their weekly life. And so I found that to be effective. The second is, we've been talking about all these negatives, oh, we're so tired, he's sleeping with the catnap. But I fundamentally believe that iterative development ultimately will be served by this 24-hour cycle. And the way I believe it will work is if you are truly iterating every day, and if we actually are learning and figuring this out, and many people who are trying it out for the first 4 or 5 years of this Web 2.0 thing, if we really are trying it, eventually the time difference has to make sense. It has to make sense that I can sit down in the morning with my designer and 2 product guys, come up with some ideas, and have another designer and a product guy in India work that second cycle, figure some stuff out, get back to me with useful information that I can then take back to the drawing board and figure out more with. There's a logical, fundamental efficiency there. We're all struggling with it right now. You can see the bags under our eyes. But I believe fundamentally that has to work itself out eventually.
Well, I do want to make a comment about that, though. I think if you look at the most successful social media companies, the typical developer there is about 22, 23. They actually work 20 hours a day. They work 20 hours a day for 4 or 5 days and they crash for a couple of days. If you talk to the guys who were early at Facebook, talk to guys at our company, Slide and Eugenie, I mean, these guys are working 20 hours a day. You know, there is no effective time zone for them. No. We're older, we need sleep.
And that's your point. Very, very well said. Okay, well, I'm going to move aside. And actually, we're down to a few of the final points I have. So at this point, I'd love to ask anyone has a question. I have one more point to cover, and then we'll cover some questions. And actually, I have no idea how we're doing on time, so someone needs to tell me here, wrap it up at some point as well. We've covered this. Okay, so actually a couple more points. So one thing we covered already is that speaking English is not the same as understanding English. And I'm just going to ask for 1 or 2 comments here and just show you a few of the English terms that I've learned over the last few years of working with the Indian team. And also ask a few of the panelists to comment on what just English, going back and forth in terms of communicating in English and what the challenges have been presented and how you guys have gone around that. While I was making that point, no one was paying attention to anything I was saying because I actually left out the funniest ones because they just weren't appropriate. So.
I'll just comment and say a comment that you made earlier, Sandeep, which is chat works better. I mean, what we found through clients and providers working in Odesk is that I would say chat is probably got 80 to 90% of the communication.
Anyone else want to comment on that?
I think the other one that I see on chat and email and everything is this word fine, right? And you really don't know if they're happily saying, yes, I will do it, or they're like, okay, fine, you know, get off my back. So sometimes some of the senior developers, I call them, I say, okay, are you really okay?
I always say fine equal good or fine equal okay.
Yeah.
Good, so we'll move past this. And anyone in the audience want to chime in with a question right now, or should I move on? Right. Hi, everyone. Arun.
Just a quick comment on the 24-hour cycle. Afternoon naps. Totally recommended.
That's because you're a sales guy. You can afford to do that.
Sales guys and VCs.
So, pieces of the please.
So, I heard about from India. I heard about people working 20 hours a day in India or comparison between 2 sets of people. My question is, all of you have done product development in India. How do you compare productivity? What software engineer with 5 years of experience do you think will the engineer in India given the equal amount of time produce the same concept or same productivity or what?
So let's have Munjo and Rashmi answer this. So that's the only way we can get dueling opinions if we ask this question to these two.
So I think there's individual variations within the two countries, and then you can talk about the mean. I mean, overall, I would say it really depends on the individual engineer. In our team, there's such huge variances between the different members that I find it hard to say on an average level that the productivity, in one country versus the other. So there's too much.
Individual variances will apply even here, locally.
Yes.
Two software engineers here, both can be independent, and they're basically.
So both can have different levels of productivity. But given the same circumstances, given the same environment, same kind of product development, same kind of education background, same experience, how would you compare it?
You can answer the question. There are so many Indian engineers in Silicon Valley. So the issue is that it's not the same circumstance. So I would definitely say that the level of productivity of our team would be higher if we were co-located. There is no doubt about that in my mind. In an ideal world, we would all be sitting in the same office, and it would be absolutely wonderful because I really like the members of our team. We'd have fun times together. It would be awesome. But it ain't an ideal world for an entrepreneur. Yeah? You start off with what you can get, and you build something out of it. And given that, definitely productivity suffers. But I don't think it's a question of how good an individual engineer is. I think it's the overall circumstance of work, of collaboration. So
I think, again, this is ameliorating over time. I mean, if you look at it, you can't expect a guy of 5 years in India that's costing you a tenth the cost to be as productive as the guy here with 10x, nor do you need it to be. So it's just a matter of how less productive is he relative to what the discount is. I mean, I don't mean to be so mathematical about it, but it's okay that he's not as productive. Yeah, there was no expectation. I'd have my engineers here and be like, that guy's not as productive, why are we hiring him? Like, that guy costs, 1/10 of what you cost. So he can be half as productive and it's still actually a good business decision. So, but what's happening now is both, actually it's going hand in hand. It's working. The system works. The wages are going up and the productivity is going up. And so both of it's moving together. In fact, one of the things that I'm actually quite proud of is I kind of went to India and did what I was supposed to do as an Indian. I raised the standard of living. I brought them from here. Literally, when I first went to India, the most expensive guy we had was 5 lakhs IIT, and now that guy makes 30 lakhs. Okay, fine, but I did it. The guy now makes it, and he's not quite as productive as his U.S. counterpart. He's 25% less productive, but he's 25% less the cost, so it's okay. Now, you may still not, then I still think there's an overhead taxation of not being in the same office and having to travel and all that. And for me, that just kind of went negative finally in terms of the ROI. But fundamentally, folks in India are becoming more productive. They're gaining more experience. They're getting better. IT in India programming is, 10 years old in terms of real scale? You had a few guys before that. So you've got guys, there's 10 years of experience there. So there's this kind of, mouse moving through the snake. And as they get more senior, you're going to see more productivity.
Cool. I would like to make some comments on this because I have a team in India as well as here. And I have been I used to bring before 9/11, all my engineers here. Because I wanted to give them understanding how we work here in American culture and understand that. And then I bring for first 4 weeks. It's looking. I said, where did they come from? I came from the same place, but I used to say, where did they come from? After 4 weeks to 6 weeks, there was no difference between my engineers here and engineers in India.
Interesting.
And after they go back, for 1 year, they are very good. After that, they come back again, all the yes sir, and all those problems that you guys have told, I still experience every day. Therefore, that's the productivity portion. It doesn't matter what you are saying. It's not co-location. It's nothing. It's the culture that we have. I call that chalta hai, Everything is chalta hai. That's the problem. It's the mindset. Therefore, I spend a lot of time in changing the mindset. When I go to visit in my office, my only work is how to change the mindset. How to let them understand, yes, I'm wrong. Nobody will ever say I'm wrong. And the only way I can do is, even if a small mistake I have made, I make a big email there. So I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I made a mistake. So it happened even last night, you know. Yeah, they said, yes sir, and but just 2 days ago I said, I'm wrong, I made a mistake. And then I said, do you remember I said that? And then you have to keep going in details, and then you find there is no sir comes in.
Sure.
I know that there is no sir there, but it's always yes sir, and even now.